Don't panic. I'm going to help you understand the I-9 form, what it's used for, and how to fill it out properly. Hi entrepreneurs, I'm Vicky Brown, and you're in the right place if you want to engage your team, boost your business, and grow your leadership muscle. Now, the Employee Eligibility Verification Form, also known as Form I-9, is required for every single one of your employees, and it confirms that they're authorized to work in the U.S. It's a crucial document for new hires that every employer has to complete. Now make sure you're using the current form for all new hires. Just look for the 08/01/23 revision date in the lower left-hand corner. The form expires on 5/31/2027. Now the full I-9 has 4 pages for completion by the employee and employer and 7 pages of instructions. Section 1, Employee Information and Attestation. Section 2, Employer Review and Verification. Lists of acceptable documents. Supplement A for preparers and translators. Supplement B for re-verification and rehire. And the instructions. You actually have to provide the full I-9 package to employees, including the instruction pages. Now, here's what you need to know about timing. You can't provide the I-9 until after the job offer has been accepted. The employee has to complete Section 1 no later than their first day of employment, and you have to complete the employer part no later than 3 days after their start date. All right, first, let's focus on Section 1, the employee section. Here's what the employee needs to provide: legal last name, first name, and middle initial. Now, if they have 2 last names or a hyphenated last name, they have to include both names in the last name field. The other names field is for all other names used, such as maiden name. Now, if the employee does not have any other names, they should write NA, then their current address. It has to be a U.S. address and can't be a post office box number. Border commuters from Canada or Mexico can use an international address for this field. Enter the birth date. The Social Security field is voluntary unless the company participates in the E-Verify program. Email address and telephone number. These fields are also voluntary. The employee can simply write NA in those fields if they don't wish to provide the information. The employee is then asked to attest to whether he or she is a U.S. citizen, a non-citizen national, a lawful permanent resident, in which case they must provide their registration number, or a non-citizen who is authorized to work in the U.S. If they attest to being a non-citizen authorized to work, they have to provide the date that authorization ends, if that applies. They must also provide their registration number or Form I-94 admission number, or they can provide their foreign passport information. The employee then signs and dates the form. Now, although Section 1 is completed by the employee, you, as the employer, are responsible for ensuring it's fully and correctly completed. However, and this is crucial, if you find any mistakes or missing information, you cannot correct or fill in anything yourself. Simply notify the employee of the error and ask them to correct it. Section 1 is completely off limits to you. The bottom of page 1, Section 2, is for the employer to complete. That would be you. Again, this section has to be completed by the employer or the employer's authorized representative no later than 3 business days after the employee begins work. The employee has to provide you with the required documentation no later than their 3rd day of work. Those documents are listed on page 2. And you have to view the originals. More on that later. For example, if the employee begins work on Monday, the I-9 must be completed no later than Wednesday. However, if you hire someone for less than 3 days, you're required to complete the Form I-9 no later than the 1st day of employment. Now, the best practice is to complete Section 2 as soon as you receive and have examined the employee's documentation. You may not request specific documents from the employee, such as, I just need your driver's license and Social Security card. Simply call the employee's attention to the acceptable documents list on page 2 of the form. Employees are required to provide either one document from List A or a document from List B along with a document from List C. All documents have to be originals, in force, that is unexpired, and inspected in person by you or your representative. In addition, you may choose to keep a copy of the documents the employee presented, but that is not a requirement and it's up to you. However, if you do it for one, remember you have to do it for all. And keep in mind, you still have to eyeball the original documents. After all, you are attesting that you saw the originals under penalty of perjury, so it's all a pretty serious matter. The only exceptions are a certified copy of a birth certificate or a document whose expiration date has been extended. Under certain circumstances, the employee may also submit a receipt for application. More information can be found in the instruction sections of the I-9 form. Okay, back to your section of the form. Complete the appropriate sections for the documents provided. Complete the employee's first day of work. Complete the information in the signature block and sign and date where indicated. The next page is the list of documents that can be used for the I-9 form. And remember, and this is vitally important, you cannot ask the employee for specific documents. That's against the law. However, you can and should direct them to this list of acceptable documents and let them decide what they want to provide. Oh, and don't over-document. That's when you collect too many documents, like a passport and a driver's license. You see, if you have a passport, that's a List A document, so you don't need anything from List B or C. So if you add in the driver's license, which is a List B document, then that's over-documenting, and it's a no-no. If they give you too much, just give them back what you don't need. All right, next up is the Supplement A page. This is used when an employee has to have someone else prepare the I-9 form or translate it for them. Now, I know you know this, but this should never be you or a company representative. And then we come to Supplement B for re-verification and rehire. If an employee has an expiration date on their employment authorization documents, then you have to re-verify their work authorization using Supplement B on or before the expiration date. Also, if an employee is rehired within 3 years of their original I-9 form, you can opt to complete this re-verification section on the original Form I-9, or you may elect to complete a whole new I-9 form. So, what do you do with the form once it's all completed? Well, if there were any expiration dates on the authorization documents that might trigger a re-verification, then you have to make a note of that in your HR system or calendar, because you're going to have to get the new documents recorded before the old ones expire. Now, onward to filing. The I-9 form is a big deal because it has a whole host of confidential information: birth date, immigration status, possibly ethnicity, etc. In fact, I-9 forms are so special that you're required to keep them all together and separate from the employee records. I'll tell you a secret. The very first thing an auditor does when they come in to look at the personnel records is look for I-9s in the personnel files, because they know there's a very good chance that's where they are, and it's an automatic fine. So make sure you file your I-9s all together and away from the personnel files. And remember, you have to keep them for either 3 years from the person's hire date or 1 year from their termination date, whichever is later. The key to I-9 compliance is consistency and attention to detail. If you follow these guidelines, you'll be in good shape. If you found this information helpful, please subscribe and share. And if you could use some help as you navigate leading and managing a team, check out the Leader's Journey Masterclass. We're here for you with micro courses, templates, guides, and a great community to answer your questions, quickly help you grow a team of superstars, and get you back to the business of running your business. Just use the link in the description for details. And remember, your inspired leadership is the secret sauce to having a high-performance team and a wildly successful business you'll love. I'll see you next time on Leader's Journey.